from last year and previous years. That was very cool. My name is Dave Coons. Welcome to the 4th annual Carroll Shelby Tribute and Car Show. Let's see a show of hands. Who's been to all 4 of them? That's what we like to see. This is the only event in Southern California where you can go and tell your friends you were snake bitten and you're proud of it. It's a very cool location. Thanks everybody for coming out. Love the mix of old cars, new cars. The Shelby name continues on, including, we're going to talk about this a little later, the Hertz Shelby, available at a finer airport location near you. So you don't have to leave your Shelby driving behind when you travel. You can go and rent a Shelby just like you did back in the day. We got to thank some friends and some partners who have helped us out here today. Ford Motor Company, who brought the 2016 Ford Shelby GT350R. It's parked right over there, and I love the fact that it has an EPA estimated highway fuel economy rating of 21 mpg, so you can tell your friends with the Prius that you're still getting mileage in the 20s. Not when you're on the track, though. Baume & Mercier, they are debuting the Shelby watch. You probably saw it over here. If you haven't yet, take a look, and it's not that long till Christmas, so be sure and order one. Superformance, they brought several of their great cars are located in the other warehouse over by the Carroll Shelby store. Superformance does a great job of keeping that Carroll Shelby image and name alive. Shelby Engine Company and Denbeste Motorsports, who have some great cars here today as well. Thank you very much. Reliable Transport, can't thank Reliable enough. They get all the cars around safely. The Larry H. Miller Car Collection, that is part of what we have here today. Shelby American, who brought in a full bunch of fantastic cars today, and you can see the team members, they're wearing their GT40 anniversary shirts, which is very cool, and we're looking forward to see, a little later, we're going to see a preview of the story of how Shelby and Ford beat Ferrari. Several clubs, of course, are part of this. We have Team Shelby, give it up for Team Shelby. Yay. And of course, there you go. And the LA chapter of the Shelby American Automobile Club, or SAC as we like to call them. Yay! Thanks very much. The team at Carroll Shelby International who produced the event, and many have helped out, but of course several were really involved with this. Mike McGurk of the NorCal Team Shelby. The lovely Tracy Smith, who is probably not here because she's doing something else, because she is very, very busy today. And lastly, but most importantly, the woman who is the director of the Carroll Shelby Foundation, and she is the event coordinator, and I asked her how much sleep she had last night, and she said not much, she's going to sleep tomorrow. How about a big round of applause for Jenny Shreves. Speaking of the foundation, over here there's a table and there's a great raffle going on today, and there's some Shelby prizes that you can win. And remember, the Carroll Shelby Foundation continues on and is thriving, and we'd like you all to help it out. So the table right over there with Carroll Shelby's logo for the Carroll Shelby Foundation. So please go buy some raffle tickets. You can take home some really cool souvenirs. Not that any of you need more souvenirs, but yes, you do. You need more Shelby things in your life, and that's a great way to get some and also help the Carroll Shelby Foundation. We have Carroll Shelby family members in attendance today. His 3 grandchildren are here. We have Randall and Molly Shelby. Sean and Rita Shelby, and by the way, I'm told it's Sean's birthday today, so how about a happy birthday for Sean? Oh, there he is. And Aaron and Brooke Shelby, plus their 2 kids, so the next generation of Shelbys come along too. Welcome, Aaron. We have to thank some of our VIPs, a couple of people that we really want to make sure, Bill and Lori Denbeste, who brought engines and wine, 2 of my favorite things. So, Bill Reinhardt from the Ford Miller Racing School and the Larry Miller Collection. Bill, do I see you here somewhere, I think? They brought the beautiful yellow 1967 Ford GT40. To give you a little bit of run of what we got up here today, after we get done with our presentation, our kind of opening presentation today, at 11:15, we're going to have a special car unveiled by Neil Cummings from Shelby. And I'll give you 3 guesses as to where it might be, but it's soon going to be right in front of this very stage. At 11:45, who saw the Paul Newman documentary that Adam Carolla did? Yeah, Adam and Nate Adams, his producer on that, are going to be up here talking about their next project, and you're going to get a special sneak preview trailer of the next thing that he's working on, the 24-Hour War, and we all know what that's about. So near and dear to the hearts of everyone who's a Shelby fan. 12 o'clock, a great panel discussion up here on stage. Bob Bondurant, Alan Grant, John Morton, Adam Carolla, and Gary Patterson from Shelby American. They're going to be up here on the stage, so if you've got questions and get cameras and get pictures going on. At 12:45, the Hertz presentation, Gary Patterson and Vince Lavallee. Close, Vince Lavallee. They'll be up on the main stage talking about the Hertz Shelby, which is parked right over there, GT350H. And of course, at 1 o'clock, have your keys ready, have your Shelbys ready. It's a tradition, the engine rev. Yeah, we're going to hear some noise. We're going to make some noise. We want to drown out the Goodyear blimp if it's landing. So that'll be the highlight of the day from a noise, or let's say music standpoint. Then at 2 o'clock, the awards presentation right up here on the stage. We've got these trophies to give out for a lot of the cars here. It is my pleasure now to introduce a member of the board for the Carroll Shelby Foundation and a board member of the Carroll Shelby International and proud Team Shelby member, and I don't have to adjust the microphone for him. How about a nice round of applause for Aaron Shelby?
Excellent. Well, thank you everybody for being here today. It's fun to be back in Los Angeles for the 4th annual Shelby Tribute. You guys always do a great job of bringing fun cars out. It's always a pleasure to come out here and see what comes, both old and new cars. It's the team members and the club members and the enthusiasts that make this happen. And it just wouldn't happen without the support and dedication of everybody out here. So I do really appreciate that. We'll have some great awards to hand out later on, and I look forward to doing that. And, my sons Pierce and Larson get to help with the awards. They were excited to do that last year, so they're going to help again this year. So it'll be quite a bit of fun. It's been a big year of change, and a lot of fun things come along with Shelby this year. I've enjoyed my time on the Shelby Foundation board about a year and a half now, and just recently again on the Carroll Shelby International board, so I'm getting a little more involved, which has been fun. I think one of the big things that we've got is the Shelby Foundation and following through with what Carroll's vision was on the foundation. And if you all will notice on the t-shirts, on the posters, we've got a ribbon on there, and it's for my nephew. Randall Molly's son recently passed away unexpectedly, Lloyd Shelby. And Randall and Molly were really dedicated, really brave. They donated Lloyd's organs in the true spirit of Carroll and organ donation. So I'd just like to say thank you and a congratulations to Randall and Molly. And we are always thinking about Lloyd, and we miss him. You know, Lloyd was a huge Shelby fan. He went to a lot of Shelby shows. He loved the cars. He was real close with my 2 boys as well. It's obviously a big loss for all of us, and we appreciate everybody's outreaching since it's happened, and feelings of sympathy and support. So again, thank everybody for that. Others I'd like to thank, we have the full team from Shelby American Las Vegas out here. You know, as Dave mentioned, Gary Patterson, you know, Gary Schechner's here, AJ's here, Vince is here, Keith Belair. You know, again, it takes a lot of support to put on shows like this and bring these great cars out. So I'd like to thank all of them for being out here this weekend and helping to put the show on. In addition to everybody here that's on Jenny and Tracy's teams. There's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes here, and to keep the stores operating, keep everything organized. So I thank everybody for doing that and their help and getting things done today. And now I would like to introduce Neil Cummings, co-trustee and co-CEO of Carroll Shelby International.
Extended trailer that Nate cut together and stayed up all night last night putting together for you guys. That is our next project. We finished about this time last year, winning the Racing Life of Paul Newman. Some of you may have seen that. Nate and I worked on that, and the next film is the 24-Hour War, which is Ford versus Ferrari at Le Mans. You guys are all familiar with that story, and a lot of vehicles in it, and a lot of stuff that's in the documentary looks familiar around here. Nate's really the brains of the operation. I just put up the money and tell them what to do.
Exactly. Now, thank you guys all for coming out. You know, he's being he helps a lot, and Adam is genuinely a car guy. We wouldn't be doing any of the Paul Newman documentary, this documentary. These are stories that he really wants to tell and that he really wants to get out there because they are really fantastic stories. And, you know, getting
Well,
out...
when I did the Newman doc, they accused me of doing it just to add value to the 8 Newman race cars that I own. But I don't own any Ferraris and I don't own any Shelbys or Ford GT40s, so I cannot be accused of insider trading on this one. This is simply passion for motorsports.
Yeah, and this is an amazing story. If you don't know it, I mean, it's the history of racing and the history of Ford and the history of Ferrari. And, you know, this is the first time big money came into auto racing is literally in this story. And it's great. Take a look at it. You know, we'd love to hear your guys' thoughts when we're done. Please, you know, tweet about it, talk about it on Facebook, take pictures. We really appreciate it. It's called the 24-Hour War, hashtag the 24-Hour War. Thank you.
Enjoy it. I think it's about 9 minutes right here. I think we'll get to the Q&A probably at some point this afternoon, but for now, just enjoy a little Hickory Farms summer sausage sampler of what this, this movie's coming in I think about an hour and 45 minutes, so there's going to be a lot of meat on the bone, but enjoy a little sample of what to expect.
Here you got two absolute icons trying to outdo each other.
Ford, Ferrari, two titans of the automobile industry, waged war at what was at the time in the 1960s the biggest race in the world, the 24 Hours of Le Mans.
There were two great enemies that were going to have some great races.
They win Grand Prix, they win the Tiger Florio.
Enzo Ferrari wasn't just the defending champion at Le Mans. He had won in 1960, 1961, 1962, and 1963.
Henry Izzard Sebring sees a Ferrari win and says, we need those red cars.
I think he felt the easiest way to do it was just to buy Ferrari and then merge the companies. There was a lot of effort put into making this deal a reality.
My father thought that this was going to be a done deal. Ford Motor Company was going to walk away with an incredible brand. And then all of a sudden, this racing thing just exploded.
Enzo didn't want anybody telling him how to run his racing business in Europe. And my grandfather didn't want anyone telling him how to run the racing business in Europe.
My father was extremely disappointed.
That's when he decided, all right, we're going to beat you. And we're going to beat you at your own game, in your backyard.
That was, of course, the beginning of the whole GT40 venture.
My grandfather formed this division of the company called Ford Advanced Vehicles and took the best engineers he could find, and they came up with the original GT40.
They designed everything. They were built to race.
It's easy to think of the GT40 as being the iconic car of the time, but the Ferraris that were racing against them were the most sophisticated Ferrari sports cars ever built.
One thing about the Ferrari car was that you were unlikely to break it mechanically.
Every time a Ferrari car was winning a race abroad, it was a win for the entire Italian industry.
Ford's debut at Le Mans drew millions of eyes to that race. Television cameras for the first time. People all over the world were watching this one race. In the opening laps, the GT40, furiously fast.
It's the fastest car on the field.
Suddenly there was a whoop.
and it's a sad sight. But that was the end of our race.
All the cars broke.
So once again, Ferrari wins Le Mans in 1964, first, second, and third. Henry Ford II is not happy. Ford needed a guy who knew something about the 24 Hours of Le Mans, maybe a driver who had beaten Ferrari before. It was said he could charm the leaves off a tree.
Got my driver's license at 14 years old, and the first thing I do is take my dad's 34 Dodge out and get caught by the cop for driving 85 miles an hour.
Carroll Shelby started road racing at its very infancy, and he won everything. And he wore his bib overalls, and he was a showman.
This is 1959. He and Roy Salvadori had just won the 24 Hours of Le Mans in an Aston Martin.
He wins that, and he's dying.
I knew that I had hereditary problems, and my father had died at 46 years old, so I figured there was nothing that could be done.
Carroll didn't know for sure what he was going to do in his life, but one of the things that he could do was he wanted to build his own sports car.
Carroll had the unique ability to spot talented people.
We had hot rodders from Japan, France, Italy, Switzerland, England, New Zealand, Australia, and all these guys worked together amazingly well.
It was a great shop to work in. It was like one big family, abusing each other.
We were a ragtag bunch of crazy guys.
He had all of these young people, these hot rodders who knew how to make cars go fast. And he had Phil Remington, who was this technical genius.
Phil Remington was pretty much responsible for all of our successes and racing over there.
All of that together, you had an amazing company. So the GT40s show up at Daytona in 1965. Shelby's had less than 2 months to turn these cars into winners.
The race is on.
At the beginning of the race, Bob Bondurant in a GT40 flies by Surtees in a Ferrari.
By the time we got to turn 2, I was doing 200 miles an hour, and I pulled Surtees 18 car away. And the car felt great. I thought, yes! We fixed it and it worked.
This is the year of Ford's great challenge.
For the first time at Le Mans, an American car is actually favored to win.
In 1965, it was starting to get really serious.
The Le Mans race in 65 was an absolute berserker because the cars were quick. I mean, the cars were running quick, but we had all kinds of engine problems.
It was a disaster.
With the race 81 through, the Ford challenge had been shattered by Ferrari.
The newspapers call it murder, Italian style.
It was the second year for my grandfather of utter disappointment. He made it very clear that we were not going to fail again.
Because then he had the name tag made in 65. September says Ford wins Le Mans in 66. You want a job next June, don't you?
Sports fans today, I don't think, could even imagine how violent motorsport was during the 1950s and 1960s.
Back then, I mean, when you got in the car as a driver, I have to imagine you had to be ready to die.
Half the drivers did not wear seatbelt because of the danger of fire. You know, they'd rather be able to jump out or be thrown out than risk the fire.
65 was a disaster, but if we had run second or third, we might never have gotten the funding to go like we did in 66.
By the time they got to Le Mans, I think everyone was feeling a lot more confident.
He was going over to beat the Europeans on their own turf.
Miles is now in first place, and he's lapping at amazing speed.
He wanted to facilitate this 1, 2, 3 finish.
Wonderful.
Ford, 1, 2, 3.
Ford comes back to Le Mans in 1967.
As the race progressed, the Fords took the lead.
Now, from the air, we see Gurney quickly accelerating to become the leader. The Americans have won. They've overthrown the Ferrari.
I was handed a gigantic bottle of champagne. I just thought, let's do something here.
He sprays the crowd with champagne. Nobody had ever done that. Now, in every race people win, they pop the champagne and spray it. It all started right there at Le Mans. Ford went on to win the 24 Hours of Le Mans again in 1968, again in 1969, and Ferrari never won Le Mans again. The Ford-Ferrari rivalry, that is the golden age of racing.
It has been a great battle, a great fight.
It's really a part of the history of motor racing. And this is really something very, very important for our company, and I believe for Ford also.
You mentioned Ferrari. Anywhere on the planet, everybody knows what they're all about. They're all about high performance and winning. Clear.
I'm often asked, really, what's the best car you ever drove? Top of the list is the GT40.
It was a huge accomplishment. American-made cars all of a sudden had a new appreciation globally, and it meant a great deal to Ford Motor Company, to Shelby, and to Ferrari for that matter.
Once you achieve what that GT40 has achieved, you're in the history forever.
It doesn't matter what brand or what car, who's racing, people love to compete. It's that spirit of competition that fuels, what we do at Ford. In the end, we all just have this drive to compete.
That's what we call it, baby.